أنت بنعمة ربك بمجنون وإن لك لأجرا غير ممنون وإنك لعلى خلق عظيم فستبصر ويبصرون بأيكم المفتون إن ربك هو أعلم بمن ضل عن سبيله وهو أعلم بالمهتدين فلا تطع المكذبين ودوا لو تدحن فيدهنون ولا تطع كل حلاف مهين هماز مشاء بنميم مناع للخير معتد أثيم عتل بعد ذلك زنيم أن كان ذا مال وبنين إذا تتلى عليه آياتنا قال أساطير الأولين سنسمه على الخرطوم إنا بلوناهم كما بلونا أصحاب الجنة إذ أقسموا ليصرمنها مصبحين ولا يستثنون فطاف عليها طائفة من ربك وهم نائمون فأصبحت كالصريم فتنادوا مصبحين أن اغدوا على حرثكم إن كنتم صارمين فانطلقوا وهم يتخافتون ألا يدخلنها اليوم عليكم مسكين وغدوا على حرد قادرين فلما رأوها قالوا إنا لضالون بل نحن محرومون قال أوسطهم ألم أقل لكم لولا تسبحون قالوا سبحان ربنا إنا كنا ظالمين فأقبل بعضهم على بعض يتلاومون قالوا يا ويلنا إنا كنا طاغين عسى ربنا أن يبدلنا خيرا منها إنا إلى ربنا راغبون كذلك العذاب الآخرة أكبر لو كانوا يعلمون إن للمتقين عند ربهم جنات النعيم نجعل المسلمين كالمجرمين ما لكم كيف تحكمون أم لكم كتاب فيه تدرسون إن لكم فيه لما تخيرون أم لكم أيمان علينا بالغة إلى يوم القيامة إن لكم لما تحكمون سلهم أيهم بذلك زعيم صدق الله العلي العظيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلوات وأتم التسليم على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. So as I have to repeat myself every week, if I can't see you, that means that you're not able to engage with me during the talk. And therefore, please move over. The younger boys, come closer so we have enough time, enough space for the oldies. Dajun, Mayahi, move over this way. Name and shame, that's what I do. Up the back. It was last week, I think, that I had hinted to the fact that we, in today's society, as Muslims trying to struggle with all the challenges that we have, are somehow unable to define what it is really that our religion wants from us. And therefore come up with this kind of like double life that we live in. On one side, we want to, live the Muslim lifestyle. We want to be practicing Muslims. On the other side, we want to catch up with the rest of today's modern society. And it really becomes difficult for many of us if we are not able to somehow look within this particular topic of lifestyle and what kind of lifestyle to adopt and how we are able to manage ourselves as Muslims living in today's society. And it's broader than just the Western society, because even in the Middle East, in Asian countries, it's pretty much the same, if not in some cases worse. The problem, if you don't deal with this, is that you start to grow this complexity, or what we call inferiority complexity, where you always try to somehow camouflage and conceal your true, genuine, real, original identity for the sake of being accepted by the wider society that you live in. And of course, this creates a very big problem in your identity. And that's why something that we always speak about in our programs is the identity crisis that some people have. And of course, there are many easy solutions to this, but it all begins with putting some effort in understanding what our guidelines are. How do we understand things? What is our Islamic definition of these particular concepts? Alaykum salam, Hajj. What is the Islamic definition of these specific concepts that we are always encountering. And of course, one of them is this topic of success. Now, when we look at today's society, when you're at school, the first thing that your careers teacher says to you, your careers counselor, careers teacher, I don't know what they call it these days, says to you is, yeah, well, you've got this job and it pays this much money. You've got this job and it pays this much money. So the mindset that you tend to develop is, what is the income that I am able to generate from this particular field if I was to enter into it? And it's very, very rare where someone says to you, you should pursue what it is that you are passionate about, even if the wages are low and if not, even probably non-existent. Because of course, we live in a capitalist society. The capitalist society that we live in is telling us that you're always going to be in debt. You're always going to run after money so you can survive. You're always going to need. You're always going to need. And that's how it is, isn't it? Capitalist society, you've got people who are earning wages so much that they have absolutely no choice other than to have two incomes coming into the house, or maybe even more than two incomes, so they're able to pay back the mortgage, the financing for the car, etc., if not having credit card debts that they are struggling to pay as well. This is probably the case of most people around us, isn't it? Because there's that urge, there's that inner feeling that you are going to have a naqs, you're going to have a deficiency if you don't have any of these things. And this is, of course, turned into a negative feeling that many of us have, and that is that we somehow feel ashamed if we were to say that we are renting. And there's no issue whatsoever in someone owning their own property. That's not what I'm saying. But you sacrificing so much in your life and what you love and what you're passionate about for the sake of feeding all of this back to these capitalist banking systems that we have in our society. And I'm sure you all know that when you do get a mortgage, when you do get a loan and whatnot, you're not paying the same amount back. You're not paying double the amount back. You're paying way more than that, aren't you? And therefore, even when it comes to that way of understanding, what is the Islamic approach to all of this? There is an Islamic approach. There is a whole economical system that Islam has presented to the Muslim Ummah, which unfortunately, even in Islamic countries, are not truly, genuinely implemented in its correct form. Success, something that we all want to have. We all want to be achievers somehow. But what is our definition of success, and what is the Islamic definition of success? What is the Islamic definition of success? This is where, inshallah, along with explaining certain things, I'm going to, show to you what our religion says, what the Quran says, what Ahlul Bayt alayhim as-salam say. what Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam say when it comes to something like tawfiq and success. Maybe if I do this to him, he won't be able to move around anymore. No, it's not working. Ibrahim, ta'al ukhda. Give him that sleeping medication that he takes. Take him away. Anyway, we're going to get to that, but just, as an enticer, Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, Al-Tawfiq Ra'sus Sa'ada. Being successful is the peak of happiness. Al-Tawfiq Awwalul Ni'mah. Tawfiq or success is the first of bounties and blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But again, what is the definition of tawfiq? What is the definition of success? Is it money? Are you weighing your success through how much money you are earning or how much money you have? Is it fame and your popularity? Is it power? Is it being antisocial and being on your phone? Is it knowledge? What is it? Don't laugh, Radha, because I've busted you so many times, okay? Lucky I didn't call your name out, Harris, while we're being broadcasted. Is it knowledge? What is it? Hey, where's Shawi today? What's going on? What's going on? Shunu اليوم? شنو السالفة? Yani you've got one job to do, Inter. Is it power? Is it knowledge? Is it a combination of these things? What is the definition of tawfiq? Of course, we know that there's that beautiful verse in the Holy Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا تَوْفِيقِي إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. My only success is through, is with, is by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and nothing else. What does success mean? You want to be a successful person in your life. You want to be an achiever in your life. What does it mean, really? Is it what we are so much accustomed to that it's one of these things that we just mentioned? It's either money, or is it fame, or is it power, or is it knowledge? What is it? When we search role models, when we search the most influential people, at the top of the list of influential people is not, for example, scientists or great scholars and ulama, or things like that. No, it's these kind of examples that is here. And that's why there's, of course, I have a lot of respect for Shaheed Malcolm X, rahimahullah, and just one second. Can you see that?
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community, and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
This is a longer, of course, a longer interview, and I do recommend, I do advise my brothers and sisters to look into the beautiful quotes and lectures of Malcolm X. Of course, he went through a lot, and this was in 63, so this was before he became a true Muslim. So this was when he was a follower of the Nation of Islam and Elijah Muhammad, but later on he became a true Muslim, and that's the theory that as to why he was assassinated. You heard what he said, that we have become accustomed to certain people being presented to us as our community leaders or as influential people, but reality is they're nothing other than puppets sharing what it is, transferring what it is that, you know, these masterminds, the superpower governments want. When all these issues happened in the beginning of the upheaval in Iran, of course there were certain people that, you know, because of their lack of insight and their emotional instability and not having that basira that they want to, they were very quick in being reactionists and making a judgment about something that they had no knowledge of, because of the whole commotion of Mahsa Amini and all the other dramas that surrounded it. But there are people that have absolutely nothing to do with Iran or with politics or with any of these things, and they started promoting the demonstrations. And that guy that does this, what's his name? Chubby? Hubby? Hobby? Cubby. That guy that does this. He had a few posts. Huh? Rebbe? He had a few posts about the demonstrations and that in Iran and free Iran, women and freedom وما أعرف إيش وهالأشياء. Why is it that 90 million population country, all celebrities are speaking about it? No celebrities are speaking about Palestine or about Yemen, or leave those countries, about simple incidents that happen in India, mathalan. We know that there are a lot of cases of problems and issues in India as far as women and things like that. When was the last time you saw that much commotion being mentioned about it? And so that's why I wanted to put that up, where the subconscious direction that we are being fed, that our mentality is being molded by people we have no control over. And it's only al-qalilin, it's only a small number of people who read between the lines, who wake up and come to the realization that, hey, something has to be done. No, a man cannot become pregnant. A lot of people now, they're saying men can fall pregnant. Men can breastfeed. I was reading that today, watching that today as well. Maybe majority of people are coming to believe that also. Sorry, I had to mention that. But this is the kind of direction. And so when we talk about tawfiq, who are you looking up to? Who are you looking up to and putting them as your role model, your example in your life? Look at these people, influencers, Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, right? Kylie Jenner, Taylor Swift, Rihanna. These are, look at how influential they are. And social media influencers. Just recently, it's only been a few years now that they started making different nationality Barbies. But for decades, it was only It was only the blonde Barbie only, and nothing else was accepted, right? And this, now all people are talking about little Za'tuta, who, of course, many people criticize because of her double standards and her hypocrisy that she has, especially how rich she's become through, you know, promoting climate change and things like that. I'm not even going to go into them. Whether we acknowledge, whether we accept or not, unfortunately, majority of our own Muslims are also going with the flow and subconsciously entering into this kind of mentality. Then you've got the unrealistic kind of mentality, you know, the comparing mentality, which sometimes it's good. Up the back, stop making noise. Who is it? Sometimes you've got, you know, someone who wants to make a point and the point makes sense. And the point is for a reason. In today's society, people have it too easy. Who watched that clip of that guy that had a mental breakdown because he was in working too much in Starbucks? Did you watch that? Did you see that? Don't say yeah if you didn't, all right? This guy, yeah, he was crying and he was saying he's just about to quit because he's got 6-hour shifts or ma'aruf ish or this and that and all these other things, right? 6 hours or 8-hour shifts, and he has to pour this many cups and he's having a nervous breakdown. This is how, you know, the spoilt generation, a lot of them are. Not wanting to work, wanting to be taken to school by car every day, Hussein, Jojo, or go by bus because they can't go walking. Yeah, but you complain every day, don't you? How many people? And the parents, you can't blame the kids, the parents, they say, no, don't go because, you know, that guy in Timbuktu, he kidnapped 3 kids and he sold them in the black market. So no, you shouldn't go walking. And what happens if you go walking and someone does this and car runs you over? Going to the worst scenarios that would happen. Now you probably say, you know, so what if I go walking or if I go by car, if I go by bus or if I do this, so what? What's the difference? It's like some people have certain theories. They say, why are you going to mow the lawn? Not going to mention names, but he's sitting right here. Why are you going to mow the lawn? Why do you want to mow the lawn if you could pay someone $60 so they can do it? Right? Why are you laughing, Harris? See? It's the Ali theory. I thought it was just the Mustafa theory. It's the Ali theory as well. Yeah. Ali Garnawi theory. Time is money. Right? Why should you have to play outside? Why do you have to do all of these things? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? So, yes, I understand that you might think a different way, but all of that builds your shakhsiyah, builds your personality. When you go through difficulties in life, you appreciate things more. You acknowledge things more. You value things more. And that's why it's a life-building skill. And that's what you are going to be able to use later on when you are faced with a certain challenge in your life. You know what to do because you've built your defense mechanism in the right way. Jojo, stop it. I saw Reza Pink do that to you. I saw him. But I don't want to mention his name, so I'm mentioning your name. This is a beautiful ayah in the Holy Quran, and all ayahs in the Quran are beautiful. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says every soul is going to taste death. Everyone's going to die sooner or later. But then this beautiful ayah, it says, وَإِنَّمَا توفون أُجُورَكُمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. يعني you are going to reap the rewards of your deeds, not here, in Judgment Day. Yes, there are a lot of things that you are going to do here that you're not going to see the reward of it. You're not going to see the reward of it. You're going to see the reward in Judgment Day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, just wait, because here I'm testing you. Here is your prison. Wait. Then when I release you from your prison, that's when you're going to be able to see and experience all of the rewards of what it is that you have. Yes, I am going to give you certain privileges. What is the privilege that you have as a believer? You've got your inner peace, you've got your tranquility, you are satisfied that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy with you. You have that also that level of serenity that you know that your direction is right, that you are with the haqq. And of course, that's very good for your mental state of being. Did we not mention a few weeks ago here in Australia how high the level of, unfortunately, the level of suicide is? Between 7 to 11 people commit suicide each day. Over 50%, 50-something percent of men, of adult men, suffer some kind of mental illness. You should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a lot of these cases are not among the poor, it's among the more affluent people, right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here, He says, فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةِ فَقَدْ فَازَ. If you don't go to hell, if you're removed from that direction of going to hell, but you're taken to heaven, then you are victorious. You've won. You have got what it is that you wish to achieve. Then the ayah says, وَمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا مَتَاعُ الْغُرُورِ. That this world is nothing but a delusion. Right? This is nothing other than a delusion. What are the obstructions that would prevent me from becoming successful? And as I said, within the religious framework, number one, something that is going to obstruct you is the... See how everyone's watching him? What's wrong? Who, Ahmed? Nido. Musa. Wakhar minna. Wakhar. Number one, technology addiction. What did we speak about last week? Yeah, Farman, yes. Thank you. Technology addiction. Yalla, reporter, start reading.
Technology addiction. Binging on TV, excessive use of the internet, social media, mobile phone, etc.
It is. Next.
Too much socializing.
Too much, socializing. Socializing. Who does that here? Name and shame. Who is it? Ali Garnawi. Is it? Too much socializing. What does it mean? What does too much socializing mean? Huh? What does it mean? What does too much socializing mean? That's right. Going out? Thank you for reading that. Yalla, reader, reporter.
Too much socializing. For example, going out excessively, chit-chat, hangouts, useless sahras, too many friends and interruptions, can't say no, fear of losing friends, and driving others.
Driving others. Driving others. What do I mean here by driving others? What do I mean here by driving others? All right, next. Poor sleeping habits. Who should listen to this? Ali, thank you. Poor sleeping habits, which is the most damaging of things. Unfortunately, this also comes due to, thanks for joining us today, due to, alaikum salam, due to the lack of discipline. Lack of discipline results in poor sleeping habits.
Such as staying up too late, sleeping in, sleep deprivation, and too much sleep.
Yeah. And lastly,
Demotivation, losing momentum and
enthusiasm. So, staying up too late is bad. Sleeping in too much is bad. Sleeping too much is bad. Not having a proper nizam, a proper system, is bad. Hamza and Jojo, is it your OCD that you have to touch the wire, my camera? ADHD? Now let's look at... Ahlan Ali, how are you? Why are you hiding yourself? Put the chair down and listen. Winston Churchill. Who is Winston Churchill? Anyone knows? Tom Shelby, huh? Who is it? MashaAllah عليك فرمان هذا. Look, I encourage you not to come here, because if you do come here, your IQ is going to start going up or going down. Yeah. So, he used to say, they used to call him Ashuno Agha, but he became president. Beethoven, they used to call him but he became a beautiful, wonderful composer, pianist. Leo Tolstoy, who's he? Optus. Yes. They used to call him Yes, but he isn't. And then you've got Mr. Einstein. What's his first name? Albert. And they, of course, used to say that he was very, very... Yes. Hassan, get something to eat for Musa. Now, these are simple examples of people who, in the Western society, right? They didn't become who they are from money. It wasn't money. It wasn't fame. It wasn't power. It was knowledge, of course. They became who they became, right? Of course, there's also the case of someone who loses tawfiq. And this is also very, very dangerous. And it's also something that you won't see then and there immediately. When you commit sin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deprives you of tawfiq. Sometimes in one hadith it says, if you commit sin in the evening, or if you commit sin the previous day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deprive you of the pleasant, of the sweetness of the gratification of waking up for Salatul Fajr and praying Salatul Fajr. Maybe because of a previous sin that you did the day before. So tawfiq is with God. But God giving you tawfiq doesn't mean that He's going to make you poor. No, that's not the definition of tawfiq. Because for us, the pleasure, the ladha is in ibadah, in gaining closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the pleasure that we have. That's our true and genuine definition of tawfiq. Or else, if that was the case, we would, if we thought that tawfiq comes as a result of money and whatnot, Tuni, it's not camp yet. Pay attention. If you are wrong in your understanding and your definition of what tawfiq is, then of course it's going to mean many miserable things. It's going to also mean that our Imam alayhim salam, our ulama, our previous ulama, our current ulama have zero tawfiq because none of them had any wealth. In most cases, they didn't even have power in that sense. Look at Imam Hussein and look at the other A'imma, salamullahi alayhim. Abandoning your duties, your fara'id, your wajibat, or committing sin, God will deprive you of tawfiq. Disobedience to your parents is also a cause for loss of tawfiq. If you are disrespectful, even by looking at your parents in a vengeful, in a disrespectful way, is a cause for loss of tawfiq, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deprive you of your tawfiq, let alone answering back, let alone raising your voice, let alone using abusive language, let alone this, let alone that, let alone ignoring, let alone cutting off ties with your parents, whoever they may be, however they may be, whether they're Muslim, whether they're not Muslim, whether they're quote unquote good parents in your definition or they're bad parents in your definition, makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. Even as the Quran says, even if they are demanding and pushing you to become mushriks, you say, Rabbi, what does the ayah say? قُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. Even in that case, teachers, your teacher, Imam Ali alayhi salam says, مَنْ عَلَّمَنِي حَرْفًا صِرْتُ لَهُ عَبْدًا. If someone has taught you one letter, someone teaches you something, you are now their servant. You now have an obligation, a haqq, that you must observe in honoring them. Unfortunately, in our society, the least respected person is the teacher. And thirdly is elders. If you disrespect your teacher, Allah will deprive you of tawfiq. If you not honor your elders, Allah will deprive you of tawfiq. And look at all these ahadith that we have from Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Don't walk ahead of your teacher. Don't answer back to your teacher. If your teacher is being mentioned in an ill way, you be there to defend them, whatever the case may be. Honoring your teacher, and all these other things that have been mentioned in the ahadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. Serving your teacher. This is, of course, very, very important. Wronging others, doing dhulm to someone else, you will be deprived of tawfiq. And of course, finally, not requesting things from God, going off and resorting and asking others to help you and make you successful. Not relying, not having tawakkul ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then, of course, there's this verse in Surah Al-Mu'mineen, the first initial verses, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِفُرُوجِهِمْ حَافِظُونَ إِلَّا عَلَى أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ, etc., etc. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you verses, one after the other, of what falah and success means in the definition of Islam. Having veneration in your prayer. Number 2, that you turn away from useless, meaningless things. Number 3, you pay your zakat and your due wajib, financial wajib obligations that you have, zakat, khums, whatnot. Number 4, you protect your modesty and your chastity. You be modest. When we use the word modesty, the first thing that comes to our mind is women, hijab, girls. No. The Quran addresses men before it addresses women. The Quran addresses men before it addresses women as far as modesty and chastity and preserving yourself for your wife. Why is it that you, as a male, think that it's okay for you to play around here and there, and then when it's time to quote unquote settle down, you're going to look for a girl who she's never spoken to, no Ibn Bashar on the face of this earth? What kind of double standard hypocrisy is that? Keeping your promise. When Ali says, I promise I'll be there in this time, he's there in this time. Right? And of course, you observe the timing of your prayer. What will be the result? And of course, the reward for that? These are the ones who will be awarded with, of course, paradise being for them. Hum fiha khalidun. Right? What do you do? Okay, I'm going to be very, very quick. Reporter.
Don't have social media apps on your phone.
What do I mean by that? The less you have social media apps on your phone, the less distraction you're going to have, the more focused you're going to be. People binge on social media, unfortunately. Right? Number 2.
Go to places where they have no net.
Like when you come to our camp, no nothing, few days, it's all about self-reflection. It's all about self-reflection. That's our main focus in camp. Unfortunately, some people have decided to go other places in this dunya.
Don't be a wishful thinker. Be realistic and stick to
One plan. Next.
Socialize with successful/religious people.
Successful, in our meaning successful, religious people. Ask them for advice. See what it is that they have to say about this. No one knows, no one knows, maybe most of you don't know, that sitting with us right now is a university lecturer and a professor. How many of you knew one person, 2 people, 4 people? Ask, who's that? What's that? What's your advice you can give to me, Ya Sayyidina? What do you think I should do? What direction is there that I should take in life? How did you get to who it is that you are? And all these other things. Next.
Read a real book.
Read a real book. None of this Harry Potter, Madri, that kind of stuff. A real book, huh? What is the strategy? Very quickly. Who wants to read? Give reporter a break. Ali, your name was Ali, wasn't it? You, Adidas. What's your name? Salam? Wa alaikum salam. Salam, Farmande. Yalla, read. Salam. Next.
Plan regular sleeping, wake up time, exercise. Phone, no phone or technology after 8 p.m. Money,
Economize.
economize and save.
Good.
Faith. Believe in yourself and know it all come from God.
From God. What was the ayah that we said? وَمَا تَوْفِيقِي إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. وَمَا تَوْفِيقِي إِلَّا بِاللَّهِ. Enhancing your self-esteem. These are simple things that all of you know, right? Don't need to read all of that. There's a verse there in the Quran, but inshallah I'm going to do this quickly. What makes you a winner? Finding good support, finding a mentor, being responsible, and always change to the best. Don't say, I am who I am, this is who I am. No, change, become better and better and better. Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam, he says, al-mu'min, a believer, needs three things. And this is very important. Tawfiq min Allah, success from God, number one. Number two, wa'idhun min nafsih, that you self-admonish, self-criticize, self-evaluate, self-advise yourself. And the third, that you accept someone who's giving you advice. This is the biggest problem that we see with people, with some people who think that they're all the way up there, that, oh, who are you to tell me what to do? You're not my dad to tell me what to do. They don't take advice. They throw it away. It doesn't suit their kind of mindset and everything else. Someone is giving you a nasiha, qurbatan ilallah ta'ala. They have no benefit whatsoever in giving you advice. Accept it, take it, listen to it, implement it. Later on, you're not going to regret if it turns out to be wrong advice. You won't regret it because you did something right, and that is accepting advice from a genuine, honest person. Okay, Hussein, read this out. Secret of success.
Secret of success. Hard work. Learn from others and from your mistakes. Be confident but not overconfident. Have patience. Be positive
And consistent. But you also have to also dress for success. Right? You don't wear ma'affin clothes that you've bought from where? Someone said, what's wrong with Kmart? Right? Islam encourages us. Islam encourages us to be elegant, not to be extravagant, to be elegant, to dress well, to dress nice, to smell nice. Sometimes you've got some people, you can't even stand next to them, they stink. They've just had a whole ras busal or garlic or sweating. That's why it's a sunnah to always use perfume, isn't it? What do people say? People say you can tell a lot by what a person wears, by their shoes, by their watch, by their whatever it is, their outer appearance, because of course it's always going to be the first impression. Never give up and all these other things. Imam al-Kadhim alayhi salam, he says, Mujalasatu ahl al-din sharaf al-dunya wal-akhirah. That associating and socializing and sitting. Where is Ali? Ali, Mr. Translator. Yeah, I should fire you. You are fired. Mujalasatu, ya Hisham, Shamlan. علي صيح والدك أبو Your father, where is he? Call him, Sihu. Yemen, ليش صنعاء. مجالسة أهل الدين شرف الدنيا والآخرة. For you to socialize with religious people has honor in this dunya and also in al-akhirah. مشاورة العاقل الناصح. For you to seek advice from a rational person who's giving you advice. Yumnun is a blessing, is a barakah, and is a sign of rushd, a sign of maturity as well. And it's also tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if someone is speaking to you and they are intelligent people, they're rational people, then you should not object and go against what it is that they say. And that's why, of course, we're always asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for tawfiq. We are inspired by God to make us successful. Not all these things that we see in social media and Tate and this and that and social media influences. No, none of that will give you tawfiq. It is you aligning yourself with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman Ajjalallah ta'ala farajuhu sharif, he asks us to recite this dua which Hajj Abu Ali is going to recite for us. He asks us, make sure that you recite this dua as regular, as much as possible. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Read the English translation as well so you know what is being said.
You can see. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم ارزقنا توفيق الطاعة وبعد المعصية وصدق النية وعرفان الحرمة وأكرمنا بالهدى والاستقامة وسدد ألسنتنا بالصواب والحكمة واملأ قلوبنا بالعلم والمعرفة وطهر بطوننا من الحرام والشبهة واكفف أيدينا عن الظلم والسرقة واغضض أبصارنا عن الفجور والخيانة واسدد أسماعنا عن اللغو والغيبة وفضل على علمائنا بالزهد والنصيحة وعلى المتعلمين بالجهد والرغبة وعلى المستمعين بالاتباع والموعظة وعلى مرضى المسلمين بالشفاء والراحة وعلى موتاهم بالرأفة والرحمة وعلى مشايخنا بالوقار والسكينة وعلى الشباب بالإنابة والتوبة وعلى النساء بالحياء والعفة وعلى الأغنياء بالتواضع والسعة وعلى الفقراء بالصبر والقناعة وعلى الغزاة بالنصر والغلبة وعلى الأسراء بالخلاص والراحة وعلى الأمراء بالعدل والشفقة وعلى الرعية بالإنصاف وحسن السيرة. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد.